All right. Welcome to week 6. This is kind of comical, but this is the third round of me trying to get this video done today. First two times I was interrupted. I'm here at work and got through the video, just about the whole video both times, and got interrupted. So we're going to do this, and hopefully it's late enough now to where I won't be bugged, and you guys can have my full attention. All right. So, today I want to go over what we've got going on the last 2 weeks. It's a busy 2 weeks, and just want to make sure we're all on the same page. We know what's going on, and hopefully I will answer any questions that you may have. A few of you have been emailing me with questions. I got a text earlier today, so feel free to text me. That's a really great way to get a hold of me if you have any questions. And just give me, put your name in the text and what your question is, and I'll get back to you pretty much right away on that. So that's a great way to get a hold of me, okay? Yeah, we're getting down to the wire here. So let's go through a few things here and make sure we are all marching to the same beat. So a couple quick words on the midterm and the Hattie research paper that you just turned in. I'm still grading those things. And so my goal is to have that done by this weekend, okay, by the end of the weekend, all right? And maybe an ambitious goal, we'll see. I will do my best, though. I promise you I'm doing my best to get those taken care of. I know you're probably anxious to get those grades. I wouldn't stress over that. So far, everybody's looking really good. You've doing a great job with both the midterm and the research paper. I really enjoy reading those things because I still learn a lot from them. Okay, so again, my goal is to get those done by the end of this weekend. Once I am finished grading those, I will then open up the grades for everybody to see. I don't want to trickle it out a few at a time. I like to do those things all at once, okay? All right, so let's talk about week 6 real quick. This is the last discussion forum that we are going to have. Datawise chapters 8 and Leverage Leadership chapter 3. All right, so if you've been into the discussion forum at this point, you will see that I only have the only thing you're doing in the discussion forum today, or for this week rather, is to identify, summarize the key points of these chapters for this week. I just decided in a previous video that failed that we weren't going to do any responses this week. Okay, so I think we've got enough going on. And to do, since I didn't give you an additional question or an additional practical application type discussion question, just the summary or the key concepts doesn't really facilitate a discussion, which is kind of antithetical to the discussion forum. However, for purposes of maintaining some sanity and giving you at least a couple extra minutes back, we'll forego the responses for this week. So nothing, so anything done in the discussion forum will only be the summarizing of the key concepts. That will still be due on Friday evening at 11:55. I want to go ahead and make that still due on that time to kind of force you to get that taken care of and knocked out so that you can devote the weekend and Monday to the assignment for this week, which is the data and assessment proposal, okay? So let's go ahead and discuss that real briefly here. The data and assessment proposal starts on page 7 of your syllabus. I'm not going to read that to you. You're fully capable of reading it, and it is self-explanatory, okay? So there's absolutely no reason for me to read that to you. The one thing that I will discuss briefly with regard to this data and assessment proposal is the response form, okay? I'm flexible with who completes the feedback for that form. I think initially it says in here that the response form is to be completed by a site-based administrator, assistant principal. It's the summer, and so those individuals may not be readily available to you, and it is that point in the summer where they're probably pretty busy getting things ready. So with that said, get feedback from another educator, another classmate possibly, a colleague, a PLC leader, department chair. If your assistant principal or principal is available, that's great. If you have a dean available, an instructional coach at your school that's available for you, just get somebody within the field with some expertise to look at that and give you feedback on your data and assessment proposal response. Okay. With that, one suggestion I do have is that you use the rubric as a guide for that feedback form. Okay, so there's no standard for the feedback form. That is created by you. Nobody has sent me one at this point, so I'm assuming at this point there's no questions. I may get some after this video. But one suggestion I have is that if you haven't created that form already and done this, that you use your rubric as kind of a guide for that feedback, okay? And so let's go ahead and review that rubric real quick. So I'm going to go to Chalk and Wire, and we are going to look at mastery, of course, because that's all we're really concerned about, of course, is mastery. And we have a number of things here that we're looking at. We're looking at the areas of need. So before I get into that, again, you're looking at data gleaned from school-wide assessments from your school site. And you're looking, again, at 2 areas of need that you've identified from disaggregating and analyzing that data. Okay, so you get that data from your school site if you have a resource there. We just got all of our, we had our end of the year assessments, and so your school probably has a plethora of data available for you. If that's not readily available for you there through your school, if you're having difficulty with that, you can always go to the Florida Department of Education, and you can get school level data there as well, okay? If you have any concerns, if you're having difficulties with that, let me know and we'll work through that together, okay? So, first area, we're looking at areas of need. So in the rubric, mastery is identifying 2 areas of comprehensively describing those areas. All right, evaluation of student performance. We are comprehensively describe evaluation of student learning results based on student performance and growth on assessments. All right, the next one is identifying areas of need. So you comprehensively described areas in need of improvement based on accountability measures, including curriculum materials, professional development, staff and faculty resources, alternative assessments. Next one is we're looking at development of learning goals. You comprehensively describe development of school learning goals based on state-adopted standards and district-adopted curriculum appropriate for his or her school. So, my private school folks, this may not, you're not going to be looking at state-adopted. You're obviously, though, going to be looking at the adopted standards that your school has adopted, okay? Improving instructional practices. Here, this is part of the buy-in component, comprehensively describe strategies that increases motivation, communicate meaningful feedback to faculty to improve instructional planning and delivery, improve morale, promote collegial efforts. So this is, if you want to describe this in one word, this is buy-in, okay? What do you do there to get your teachers to buy in to improving instructional practices? Okay, communicating with stakeholders. Again, your stakeholders, your parents, your students, your faculty, your community. Comprehensively describe appropriate strategies for informing and engaging your stakeholders. That is that political component that every administrator has to have a little piece of. And then finally, proposal response form. Again, I had that suggestion of possibly using the rubric here as kind of a guide for that, okay? All right, so that's week 6. That is due on Monday evening, the 7th. All right. Okay, so moving on to week 7. Week 7, as you can see on page 8 of your syllabus, we have that broken up into 2 pieces there. The first part is data-wise chapters 9 and 10. Remember, this week is our last week for the discussion forum. I encourage you, however, though, to read, finish up the readings in DataWise, as well as Leverage Leadership Chapter 7, because that will benefit you when it comes time to the final. All right, so even though you don't have a discussion forum, I would encourage you to get those chapters read and finish those up, okay? The other piece that will be due on the 11th, so as you can see, week 7 is only 3 days. Yep, 3 days. You had the Field Experience Individual Leadership Development Plan, okay, assignment number 4. All right, let's go to page 6 in your syllabus, and we'll see that the candidate will gather statewide assessment, just like you did in the previous assignment, or data gleaned from school-wide assessments at his or her school site, and use it to complete the Standard 1 Student Learning Results portion of the IDLP to complete the following, and then we talk about the outcomes there. Underneath that, the Field Experience Administrator Feedback Forms. The feedback form is in the introduction portion of the portal, as well as week 7 of the portal on the right-hand side under Documents. So 2 places to find that feedback form. Be sure to get that completed and turned into the college. They need that documentation, okay? Underneath that, you'll see the link there, so you can copy and paste that into your address bar. All right, and following candidates will follow the steps below here, and then it provides you with 5 different steps there for completing this particular assignment. So it's pretty laid out pretty well in the syllabus there. So I'm not going to belabor this point. If you have questions on this assignment, be sure to let me know. If it's a short question, texting me is a great way to do it. I can generally get back right away. If it's a lengthier question, need to go into some detail, email, of course, is always great as well. All right, and I'll get back to you as soon as I have that information. Okay, I would also encourage you to take a look at the rubric for this particular assignment in Chalk and Wire. And while we're discussing it, I will go to that rubric real quick, point out a couple things of interest to you that you may ask, or we can head off before you do. So I'm looking for EDU 6550, and I'm looking for the development and leadership. Let's see here, assignment faculty development. Nope, that would be the wrong one. All right, individual leadership development plan, there it is. Okay. So if you're there, I want to draw your attention down to the bottom where we're looking at communication to stakeholders, reflection and APA formatting. The reflection piece here, it says for mastery, 1 full page submitted, including all required elements of the assignment, including correct grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Okay, so the end of the semester, we got a lot to grade. We got the final after this. I encourage you to keep this right around 1 page. As you can see, if you go less, then you're looking at fewer points. I really don't want more than 1 page. I'm sure you don't want to write more than 1 page because that's just going to be more reading and grading, and I'm not sure I'll have much more time for 1 page. Okay, so if you had questions on the length, 1 page is all that's necessary, and that's what I encourage you to stick to for this particular assignment. Of course, APA formatting, no need for a reference page here, no need for abstract. Give me a cover page, 1-inch margins, a running head on the cover page, or running head on the subsequent 1 page that you're going to write, and we'll call it a day as far as the APA formatting goes. Okay? All right. And then the rubric's there for you to review and to guide you as you complete this assignment. Okay? So that is week 7 in a nutshell. All right. We're moving right along. On to week 7.5, and this video is getting longer, so I apologize. I'm going to hurry up and get this taken care of. That week, we just have the final exam, all right? Not much detail to give you as far as the final exam goes. It's going to look similar to the midterm. It's going to cover chapters, DataWise chapters 5 through 10, Leverage Leadership chapters 2, 3, and 7. So again, read those final chapters back in week 7 so that you know where we're heading for the final exam. Final, it's going to look very similar to that of the midterm. If you do on the final what you did the midterm, you will be just fine. Okay, study those same areas. You obviously your text is your primary source of information there. Also, the discussion forums where you and your colleagues summarized the text. That's a great place to go to as well as the outlines in the portal for each week. Okay, it's going to look the same. It's going to be the same as far as the amount of time that you have. I will let you know the exact time and date that it'll be open. I'm sure it's going to be, let's see, it starts the 12th. It'll probably be midnight of the 12th, but and close midnight of the 15th. I'm assuming that's what we're going to do with that. But I will let you know for sure at the beginning of next week before it's open. Okay. All right. So I think that's all I had to cover at this point. I don't want to go any longer. This is already my longest video. Watch this as much as you need to. Stay focused. 2 weeks to go. We can do it. If you have questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, and we will work through it together. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and end it there. Thank you for your time, and good luck.